Beans and Cornbread.
Before we dive in, here's your required disclaimer. This podcast uses satire and dark humor to discuss very real and very messed up events. We roast the powerful, not the powerless. We don't joke about the victims, but we will joke about the people who thought the rules didn't apply to them. Are you still with us? Good. Now let's get uncomfortable.
Welcome, and good morning to all. I am Kev.
I am Jessica.
And you are currently listening to the Beans and Cornbread podcast. Jess, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty damn good. We have a very interesting topic today, and it is called The Algorithm is Watching. And you know why we did this? You know why we're doing this?
What's that?
Because your feed that you get on social media ain't random. So in this episode of Beans and Cornbread, we're talking about who's really controlling what you see, think, and feel online, and how to break out of the digital echo chamber. And in this digital age, the real puppet master isn't a politician. It's the algorithm. From what you see on your timeline and how you think about politics, race, relationships, and even yourself, big tech is pulling strings in ways that we don't always notice. So in this episode, your favorite interracial duo breaks down the invisible hand shaping the internet, and we're going to ask, are we still thinking for ourselves? What do you think?
Well, I hope so. I hope so, but I can see we have multiple examples of that people are not fully thinking for themselves.
Right. So let's talk about the algorithm. And before we get into that, what is the algorithm?
Well, in social media, an algorithm is a set of rules and calculations that determine what content users see and in what order. So it essentially analyzes behavior, our preferences. It personalizes, what we see on our feed. That includes posts, ads, just any suggested content. And the goal is to maximize our engagement by showing content that is most relevant and interesting to us, to each individual.
So I could definitely see, that's all good points, right, for the algorithm, but I can definitely see that if someone wanted to influence or do things subterfuge, I think is the word, or secretly, that they could send things your way to try to influence you to behave a certain way. And, it just immediately comes to mind about what Russia was accused of doing in the elections.
Yep.
So if you can weaponize it, or, for the lack of a better term, create social irresponsibility, you can sort of control a populace and how they think and move them to an agenda that you want them to be following.
Well, that's when we all discovered bots.
Yeah. So what's a bot?
That's when they became, that's a bot. It's an autonomous program on the internet or any network that can interact with systems or users. So it's like fake people, fake businesses, fake.
So when you
info.
say that, it reminds me of so that's kind of like data mining, right? So I'm getting all this information by what you're looking at on social media, what your inputs are, how you're interacting with other people, and I'm getting all this information, and then I'm going to use that in turn to add stuff to make sure I'm pushing you down that same, as we say in Beans and Cornbread, that rabbit hole, and to get you to follow that and steer you where I want you to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's almost like, I know we have all experienced this, where you go online and you look for something, right? Maybe you want to purchase something, right? Then all of a sudden on your email, those things just popping up left and right. You're like, I was just thinking about this, or I just did something like a week ago.
You can have a conversation with somebody and all of a sudden there'll be an ad on your phone on Facebook.
Yeah. Right, and we like, we're in this age of AI and technology, and that's how it works, and that's pretty cool because, that's what I want. But at the same token,
creepy.
that can be used against you.
I think it's creepy.
Yeah, it can be. That's like somebody, if me and you was having a conversation and somebody was listening,
Yeah.
and they heard all of the information that was going on, and then they got us on a one-on-one basis, and they can relate to us very easy because they heard our conversation. They know where our points are or where to attack, right, to make us feel a certain kind of way and to do whatever it is their bidding is.
Yep. Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's convenient, but it's scary.
It is because, we are living in a day and age of AI, artificial intelligence, and it can get a lot worse.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it can get over to the point to where I don't even need you to think anymore. I'm going to think for you, and I'm going to determine everything for you. And so that's the ultimate form of control. And that seems like what the rich and the powerful seem like they always want. The ultimate control over those that they deem beneath them or not at their status or level. So what would you like to add? What do you want to talk about when we're going to talk about the algorithm is watching?
Just that we've had so many instances of in our feed, wrong info, untrue things in our feeds and TikToks and I mean, side note, when you're looking at TikTok or Facebook, you're not necessarily like interested in something, but something mentions someone. Like, I'll be watching something and then something will mention, a politician I don't agree with or whatever. But since that happened, all of a sudden I'm getting all these, and I'm trying to get out of it. I'm like scrambling because I don't want it to be in my feed. I don't want it to be, I don't want to be like on quote the list or something or whatever, So that kind of irritates. That's why once that happens, I just get off because it's just, or on Facebook, I have to push irrelevant. I just get out of anytime I see ads or anytime something crossed my thing, I'm just like, why would I possibly have that on my feed? But it might have been an article I was reading.
Right.
So I have to push irrelevant because I don't want my feed full of, stuff that is against my interest or against
different type of content or whatever.
Yeah. So it's kind of annoying.
Well, even recently, right? Like we know that everyone's interested in these Epstein files, right? And then all of a sudden now the president comes on and he's like, to me, it's like a deflection, starts talking about past presidents. And I'm just like, what's that got to do with everybody wanting to see Epstein files?
I mean,
and then I'm on Facebook and all I'm seeing is this president. Did you want this president put in jail? Do you want? But it has nothing to do with what's going on in the current event. So it's like, so this is being pushed. This is a narrative that's being pushed, and to me, it just looks like it's being controlled to be a deflection from what's really going on and the truth. And so, as we was talking off air, the truth, right? So let's say you are a scientist and you invent something, or you're an inventor, you invent something, or you prove something, or it's a new fact or something that comes out. Well, guess what? It never really is until it can be proven. So how does that happen? Multiple sources have to run the experiment to get the exact same conclusion that you got, right, in the scientific community, peer review as we call it, before it can become a known truth. So if you're on social media, right, and you're into politics and you're seeing all these different things, but you're looking at it from a one side or one track mind, does it not behoove you to have multiple sources outside of what you think is the norm to say that it is true or not? And if you get a majority on one side of this, or whatever side it is, the truth side, I'm assuming, then you can start to form your basis and your opinions that must be true because it's been tested and said by multiple sources. Credible multiple sources that have nothing to gain one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what a normal cognitive thinking pattern should be like?
Yeah, that would be on a normal cognitive human being. But we beat this horse dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a prime example is vaccines. How does Joe Schmo know more than a team of scientists that have been working on vaccines for decades? How do they know more?
That if the science wasn't there,
The science is science, like I told you.
A swath of the population would not even be here.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, and there was proof that all these extra or side miracle, I can't remember that one thing that they were telling people that horse, it was like a horse medicine or something that and it was killing people. A hydro something, I can't remember what it's called.
Hey, drink bleach.
Oh yeah, and drink bleach. And I'm gonna stick with science because there's no arguing science. There's no arguing math. There's no arguing.
And it's just like the analogy I just used. If there is an argument in science, guess what? Then somebody presents something, then it goes through a peer review process, and then if it found out to be true, then guess what changes? The science changes to match the truth.
Yeah, that's what everyone always was like. Well, this is not what you said last week. It's evolving because the virus was evolving, and they're just like acting like they just whipped up this vaccine. I'm like, people. There's a basic vaccine and then it trails off into all these different viruses and stuff, and they tweak it, or I don't know science terms, but you know, it wasn't just something that got pulled out of someone's ass in a week and then, you know, we put it on the market. As I said a million times, I can't wrap my head around.
Well, and I can understand a little bit of it, right? Because there's a lot of disinformation that's put out, right? So even, you know, one side or the other,
there's always been a vaccine argument,
right? It's going to be disinformation. I use, for instance, cancer, curing cancer, right? We hear these things. Well, the cure for cancer has already been discovered and all this, but no one wants to cure it because the money is going to be in the medicine.
Yeah.
To do that. So you bring on the skepticism, do stuff like that, but you may hear that, but do your research at least do your research, right? Get as close to the truth as you possibly can by hearing the arguments of why there is no permanent cure for cancer, right? Does cancer keep evolving? Like, does these things, right? Why is there no current thing for that, right? What kind of money is involved in not having the cure, right? Because it still comes back down to what? When you're talking about that kind of money, it comes back down to big tech, comes back down to big companies, comes back down to the rich and the powerful. Right? That's why we have to understand that and look at it from all different types of aspects, not just follow one trail. Because Hansel and Gretel left a trail of breadcrumbs. But who says those breadcrumbs ain't getting eaten along the way as you're leaving them?
Yeah, I don't know.
So the algorithm, does it work in our favor?
A little bit. Do what now?
Does it ever work in our favor?
I think so. I mean, it depends what subject you're looking up, I think. If it's, you just misplace one word or something, you can go down the wrong.
Okay.
The fork of the road. It just.
So here's something I think you're going to find interesting. Here's something I think you can be able to speak on. How does that affect content creators? Because I know it's a big story about, and you guys might have known this famous gaming content creator called Corey Kenshin.
Well, I think on a lot of the algorithms, I think a lot of someone, not all, but there's a huge separation between creators of color and white creators. I don't know what to call them, white creators, and non-minorities. And so it's just like my daughter came up and told me that she was really upset because she, feels like she grew up with him. Mm-hmm. She's been watching him forever. All the kids have been, really. And
that would be our daughter, but go ahead.
Our daughter. And she had told me that his videos are getting pulled down for every little reason, and someone else of non-color can pull up the some stuff. And he's very PG. He's very he doesn't curse. This is how my kids learn freaking. Everything's freaking God freaking mom. You know, everything. That's what it all came from. And he's very creative. He's a good guy. And he's a black guy. I should have probably mentioned that because that's a factor, because he's gotten to the point now that he's just like, I can't come to any other conclusion, you know? And he's been around for over 10 years. I mean, he was one of the first big, you know, watch me, which we never understood, our kids watching someone else play the same game that they have.
Right.
And that's what he banked on. And then, he has like this huge following, but they're getting suppressed. They're getting less traffic.
So it's like
it's just a big bias.
Are getting like siloed. It's crazy because
shadow banning
more and more.
They're getting shadow banning is a major thing with them, and they're just
what is
the unequal compensation.
Just because maybe not everybody who's listening to us knows
shadow banning is like subtle, being subtly restricted or hidden from a wider audience, and you wouldn't necessarily know you were getting shadow banned. I guess when your numbers drop or your
analytics, right?
Yeah. So they would like, you know, we have people on our Facebook and then we post something, but we don't want that person to see. We just, you know, everyone except, you know, Joe Smith. So it just, you know, restricts their audience. You know, more people, you're not going to see their videos as much. It's not going to come up on the first feed that you scroll through. They get unequal compensation. I mean, so yeah, there's a huge, that's another whole slide to go down, but that's part of the algorithm. It's part of the what?
Another rabbit hole?
Yeah, another rabbit hole.
So here's a thought for everyone listening. Who are you when you're not online? How does your online presence say who you are? Right? If someone doesn't know you personally and they go to your Facebook, IG, or whatever, who are you when it comes to that? Right? Because if that can be controlled and restricted for exactly what is being pushed on you, then that may not be who you want to be portrayed as. So when you're not online, or when your phone is not up and your phone is laying down, who are you and what is your presence? How are you being looked at?
Well, I think...
How are you being marketed to?
Oh. I think my online, because all I have is Facebook, really. But what I post and what I say is pretty much on brand when it comes to me. I don't... I'm not like a Instagram person, so I don't, you know, take a picture 50 times. You know, or make my kids, you know, post their crying, or, you know, okay, let's do it again, you know, but face the camera this way.
And yeah, I mean, I totally get it. But like, we're a little bit older, right? So the younger generation, younger than us, spend way more time online and doing different things, right? So I would like to encourage them. Put down the phone for a little while. Put down the social media for a while and get out and reconnect with people in a more personable way. Get out and see life through the lens of self-reflection. Change your perspective into the real instead of always the online presence where you're just trying to show people what you want them to see about you. But who are you really? Right? I think in society as a whole, we're losing that. We're losing the human interaction and the real human contact and real ways of thinking in a social aspect physically because of online presence. I'm not saying online presence is bad because technology has pushed us forward. We're able to communicate with anybody in any aspect on this planet, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, I think we're also losing parts of our humanity that we need to keep a hold of, because in the long run, when that happens, we start getting broke down and segmented even more through your thoughts and what you do on social media, which can be a detriment to us all.
Well, yeah, just like, when you go get a job, they're going to look at your stuff before you walk through the door. They're going to know what you post, what your likes are, what you're a fan of, what books you like to read. I mean, they're going to research you.
So all those Karens and Chads out there.
Yeah, they're going to see your videos, and nothing's ever really deleted. I mean, once it goes viral, you can delete it off Facebook, but once you say a certain thing, you're out there.
Yeah, because
So
it can hurt. You guys ever heard this term? If you look for something hard enough on somebody, guess what? You're gonna find something. You're gonna find something. So we're not all innocent and all, great and good. So you definitely need to be careful what you're looking at on the internet, what you're posting, what you're liking, how you're responding. Start looking at your own feed. Look at it from a different perspective, not your perspective, but step back from it and maybe look at it from a 50,000 foot level. So you can say, okay, if I wasn't me and I'm looking at this person and everything that is posted here, who is this person and how do I really feel about them?
Because stuff will come back and haunt you. We've seen so many times where a sports person or anybody in the limelight, there's a tweet from 15 years ago, something racial, something anti whatever, and I'm not that person anymore, which is, we all grow. I get that, but it doesn't look good. I mean, you can move on, but I mean,
because there's another thing that online presence does. It's very judgmental.
Oh my gosh,
to the extreme.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's very judgmental. So then a lot of people can be a certain way. Let's look at politics. You can say certain things, but then when we go look up your background, hey, you're trying to be squeaky clean in how you say things, but then we'll see the stuff that's caught around you being recorded around you when no one's there. Hello, pedophile island, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Right? Now no one wants to open up files. No one wants to see that. No one wants to, expose themselves. So yeah, your online presence is cool. You can put out there what you want to put out there, but at the same time, because we're now in a digital age, that stuff will never ever go away. Even when you delete something, it's never ever fully deleted. It always can be found and brought to the surface at any moment in time, should anyone want to put enough energy into it to do so.
Yep. That's why I always tell the kids. I'm like, college looks at you, a job looks at you. Luckily, our kids they just watch YouTube all day. They're not huge posters, none of them really are. So,
but the algorithm is tracking what you watch.
Yeah.
And it wants to keep you watching stuff. So guess what it's going to do? Keep feeding you these nuggets and these tidbits.
I mean, even ads, I guess, on YouTube. I mean, I don't really watch YouTube, but, I mean, a few of them have asked me, but a lot of them know about they know about it more than I do, but they'll be like, gosh, you can't say anything. I mean, I remember one time, like when we first realized it, I remember it was about mattresses. And we were talking about mattresses, and then I was getting like, all these mattress ads on Facebook. Marketing. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, and then I'm like, how do I turn the mic off? And then you see all these little tidbits and helpful, but it doesn't really. I mean, there's no really.
And that's business. That's business, right? If you own.
But I'm like, I'm not that interesting for them to be. I'm not worried about that much because I'm just like, I'm boring.
But see, it's not difficult from a business standpoint to do those mass things, right? If you say one thing, okay, we got to hit this person.
It's like keywords and stuff.
That's just business overall. So we're not saying everything is totally negative. We just want to bring a level of awareness in this digital age and let you know that the algorithm is watching. You're listening to Beans and Cornbread, and we'll be right back with
Final 9.
the last 9.
The last. God.
We'll be right back. Beans and Cornbread. And welcome back. And we're going to go into the last 9. So I have something interesting I want to talk to you about, Jess. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I want to talk about the purple sky people.
Okay, tell me.
So the purple sky people, to me, is those people that you can tell them the sky is blue, and they will tell you it's purple. You could blatantly show them the truth on something, and they will go against it no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I find those people, because it confuses me, because I'm like, are you doing it on purpose, or do you really not know that the sky is blue?
And we're not talking about colorblind people.
I'm not talking about colorblind.
Okay.
Don't need no blue blockers. I'm not talking about any of that. It's just, it can be something so blatant.
Stubbornness.
Yeah. Is it stubbornness? Like, or is it because of who's saying it that you don't want to believe it? What is that?
Oh my gosh. Everything goes back to the subject that we always end up talking about.
Which is what?
And I hate giving him space in my head. But it's the people that... There's a guy on YouTube, I cannot remember his name, and he goes to MAGA. What are they called? Conventions? What, I don't know what they're called when they're out. Gatherings, whatever.
MAGA gathering.
And says exactly what... Okay, normally I call him DA. I don't really want to say his name, but what Trump says. But doesn't say that he said it. And they're like, oh, I wouldn't vote for him. Or like, what if your daughter brought home a guy that was convicted of, so-and-so felonies and has had 3 different wives and cheated on all of them, and just got this huge rack, and they're just like, oh my gosh, he would be banned. And I'm just like, and the truth just gets thrown, and they're like, oh, well, that's different. It's always that's different. Or he didn't mean what he said. Or
it's like
you have court documents in your face.
Yeah. And to me, it's like those people, when that happens, they put this wall up, this impenetrable wall that doesn't matter if they're going to die if the wall doesn't come down. They would rather fall on their sword and die.
When you vote against Medicaid and retirement and your pension and
your farms,
Social Security, and your farms, because you think it's the Christian way, it's the Christian white way to vote, because that's a huge thing. That's a fact about how.
I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. But just it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to grow. It's okay.
But Jess, change is so scary. Oh my God, if I have to change, I don't know what's going to happen. I might lose something. You're going to take my stuff. You're going to take something from me. I'm scared.
Now what's happening? Half the country's unemployed, but the unemployment rate is so down. I mean, that's
purple sky.
Yeah.
Purple sky.
I don't know. That's about everything. It's about, and it's sad. It's a lot of older people. And I'm just like, dude, not to be like, I mean, this sounds really bad, but you're not going to be around, when all this policies kick in and stuff. Just, vote for the future. Just vote for the kid. Vote for.
You love your children?
Yeah. Vote for the next. To me, if you.
Not love to where you want to make sure that your kids are above everybody else, because that is not what love is.
No. My thing is, and if you got daughters, I mean, that's going to be another subject soon.
Purple sky.
It boggles my mind how you vote against their interest. But on the other hand, it's rich people are safe. They have access to everything that they've taken away from us. So they're in the clear. So when it comes to, it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other subjects besides politics is.
Every walk of life. I mean, there's a million situations that people that are listening could tell us where there's something that's blatantly obvious. Someone in their family members, and they tell them this is what this is, relationship-wise. I mean, think about all the different things that is true, and then you're saying it's not. Right? Not us in particular. I'm just saying in general. Right? There's a lot of truths that are always out there, and people will fall on their sword to believe the lie or whatever, and become these people that I call purple sky people.
A lot of it in the family, though, they just, a lot of families just don't talk about issues and,
Which is a purple sky person.
My family didn't, yours, no one talked about,
right.
Things that happened or they got the weird uncle or,
or aunt.
Yeah. You're not, just, not to leave your kids or, but it's still acceptable for him to be at the dinner table or her to be at the dinner table or just things that happen. I mean, it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm like,
to cover stuff, I guess.
Is it a form of laziness, procrastination, stupidity, ignorance? I mean, I think all those are factors, but I think the biggest factor of all is straight up stubbornness.
Yeah. Embarrassment. They don't want to.
Or embarrassment.
There's nothing wrong with admitting you're
connotations wrong. That you should not want on you.
Yeah.
Right? So, purple sky people, who is your biggest critic and your biggest judge if it ain't you? Why, and I say this to my kids all the time, why would you continue to lie to yourself? What good is that going to do for you in your future?
Yeah.
It hurts you no matter what. Self-esteem. I mean, you can just name it. You just go down the list. It's going to continually to hurt you. And what do hurt people do, Jess?
Hurt others.
They hurt other people. So, not to tie this into another show that we have called Trails in Therapy, but we all need therapy. If you don't want to be a purple sky person, please seek therapy. And this is not a public service announcement. But we are on The Last Line in Beans and Cornbread, and we want to thank you all for listening, and we will see you or talk to you next time.
Toodles.